Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the horizon, staring at the massive alien ship that floated before them. The vessel was 3 times the size of his own ship and looked like nothing he had ever seen. Its surface gleamed with colors that seemed to shift and change as he watched. "This is really happening," Dr. Amy Patterson said from beside him. She was the ship's xenobiologist, and her hands shook slightly as she held her data pad. "We're actually meeting aliens. Stay calm," Jake told her. "We knew this day would come. The aliens had been watching Earth for decades. Everyone knew that now. They had observed humanity from a distance, studying their technology and culture. 3 months ago, they had finally sent a message. They wanted to meet. They wanted humanity to come to their council and speak with the leaders of 15 different alien species. Jake had been chosen to represent Earth. He was 42 years old and had spent 20 years in the space program. He was calm under pressure and good at talking to people. Those skills would be tested today. Captain Morrison, the communication officer, called out. "They're hailing us again. Put them through," Jake said. A voice filled the bridge. It sounded mechanical, probably run through some kind of translation device. "Human vessel. Horizon. You are cleared to dock. Follow the guidance markers. Welcome to Viridian Prime." Kevin Chen, the ship's chief engineer, let out a long breath. "Here we go." The horizon moved forward slowly, following the glowing lights that appeared in space before them. The alien ship opened a massive bay door, and they flew inside. When they landed, Jake felt his heart racing. This was the moment that would change everything for humanity. The 3 of them walked down the boarding ramp. Jake wore his formal uniform, dark blue with Earth's flag on the shoulder. Amy and Kevin wore similar outfits. They had debated for weeks about what to wear to meet aliens. In the end, they decided simple and professional was best. The docking bay was enormous. Strange machinery lined the walls, and the air smelled different. Not bad, just different. Like metal and something else Jake could not identify. A group of aliens waited for them. Jake tried not to stare, but it was impossible not to look. One was tall and thin, with crystalline skin that sparkled under the lights. Another looked like it was made of living rock, moving with surprising grace despite its bulk. A third appeared to float in the air, its body made of swirling gas contained in some kind of energy field, the crystalline being stepped forward. "I am Architect Vex of the Zinthara. Welcome, humans. We have waited a long time to meet you." Face to face, Jake extended his hand, then realized the alien might not understand the gesture. But Architect Vex reached out with a 3-fingered hand and grasped his. The crystal felt cool and smooth. "Thank you for inviting us," Jake said. "We're honored to be here." They were led through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The ship was a maze of passages and rooms. Other aliens passed them, stopping to stare at the humans. Jake smiled and nodded at each one. Some nodded back. Others just watched, with expressions he could not read. They arrived at a large room filled with comfortable-looking seats arranged in a circle. At least, Jake thought they looked comfortable. They might have been designed for alien bodies. "Please, sit," Architect Vex said. "You must be tired from your journey. Would you like refreshment?" "Water would be great," Jake said without thinking. Several of the aliens in the room turned to look at him. One made a strange clicking sound. A smaller alien, barely 3 feet tall with fur covering its body, hurried over with a container. It handed the container to Jake carefully, as if it held something precious. Jake opened it and found it contained maybe half a cup of water. "Thank you," he said. He took a small sip and offered the container to Amy. She drank a little and passed it to Kevin. He finished the rest. "Do you need more?" the small alien asked. Its voice sounded worried through the translator. "No, we're fine," Jake said. "Thank you." But he noticed the aliens were all watching them. The way they stared made him uncomfortable. It was like they had done something wrong. Over the next few hours, they talked about many things. The aliens asked questions about Earth and human culture. They wanted to know about technology and government and art. Jake answered as best he could, with Amy and Kevin adding details when needed. During a break, Jake pulled out his own water bottle from his pack. He took a long drink, not thinking anything of it. When he looked up, every alien in the room was staring at him. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Architect Vex leaned forward. "That container. How much liquid does it hold?" "About 20 ounces, Jake said. "A bit more than half a liter." The crystalline being seemed to shimmer with emotion. "And you carry this with you? For personal use?" "Sure," Jake said. "We all do. You're supposed to drink plenty of water throughout the day. Keeps you healthy." The aliens began talking among themselves in their own languages. Even with the translators off, Jake could tell they were agitated about something. "Captain Morrison," Architect Vex said slowly, "please tell us about water on your planet. How much do you have?" Jake glanced at Amy. She looked as confused as he felt. "Well," he said, "Earth has a lot of water. We have 5 oceans, plus lakes, rivers, underground reserves." "Why do you ask? How much of your planet's surface is covered in water?" The alien's voice was very careful now. "About 71%, Jake said. "Most of Earth is water. Everyone knows that." "Jake?" The room exploded with noise. Aliens jumped to their feet, or whatever they used for feet. They shouted in their various languages. The translators could not keep up with all the different voices. Architect Vex held up a hand, and slowly the room quieted. The crystalline being looked at Jake with what might have been shock. "Captain Morrison," it said, "do you understand what you are saying? A planet with 71% liquid water on its surface? That is impossible." "It's not impossible," Amy said, speaking up for the first time. "That's just how Earth is. We have satellite images. We have data. I can show you." "Please do," Architect Vex said. Amy pulled out her data pad and projected images into the air. Pictures of Earth from space, beautiful and blue. Pictures of the Pacific Ocean stretching to the horizon. Pictures of rivers and lakes and waterfalls. The aliens stared in silence. Some of them made sounds of disbelief. Others seemed unable to speak at all. Finally, Architect Vex turned to face Jake directly. "Captain Morrison," it said, "if what you show us is true, then Earth is the most valuable planet in the known galaxy. And humanity has just become the most important species in the Council's history." Jake felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. He had come here to make friends and establish peaceful relations. But somehow, he had just told the entire galactic community something that changed everything. He could see it in their faces. Alien as they were, he had made Earth a target. The meeting room remained silent for nearly a full minute. Jake watched as the aliens stared at the images of Earth floating in the air. Their faces, so different from human faces, all showed the same thing. They were shocked. Architect Vex finally spoke. "We need to verify this information. You understand, Captain Morrison. Claims like this cannot be accepted without proof." "Of course," Jake said. "We brought all the data you could want. Scientific measurements, chemical analysis, everything. Then we will examine it," the crystalline being said. "This session is postponed until our verification is complete." The aliens filed out of the room quickly. Jake noticed how they kept glancing back at the humans as they left. Some looked excited. Others looked worried. A few looked almost angry. When the door closed behind the last alien, Kevin let out a long breath. "What just happened?" "I think we made a mistake," Amy said quietly. "We should have researched their worlds first. Found out what resources were valuable to them." Jake shook his head. "We were told to be honest and open. That's what we did." "How were we supposed to know water was rare?" A small door on the far side of the room opened. The furry alien who had brought them water earlier peeked inside. Answers would be nice, Kevin said. Why did everyone react like that? It's just water. Pip came fully into the room. The small alien barely came up to Jake's waist. Just water? Sir, water is the most rare substance in the galaxy. Most worlds have only ice at their poles. Some have underground deposits. But liquid water on the surface, in such quantities, that is something from old stories. But life needs water, Amy said. How do your species survive? We adapt, Pip said. My people, the collectors, live on a world with water ice deep underground. We mine it carefully. Each family gets a ration per month. Some species need less water than others. The cloudwalkers barely need any. But species like yours and mine, we need it to live. How much water does your planet have? Jake asked. Pip made a clicking sound that the translator rendered as laughter. If we gathered all the water on my homeworld, it would fill a lake perhaps 10 of your kilometers across. That water supports a population of 3 billion collectors. We recycle every drop. We lose some to space. But we mine more ice. It is a careful balance. Jake did some quick math in his head. 10 kilometers of water for 3 billion people. Earth had entire oceans. The Pacific alone could hold thousands of alien planets worth of water. No wonder they freaked out, Kevin muttered. There is more you should know. Pip said. The small alien looked nervous. There are species on the Council who would do anything for access to water. The profiteers will see Earth as the greatest business opportunity in history. The Dominion will see it as a resource that should be controlled by the strong. And the Zinthara will see it as sacred. What about you? Hope, Pip said simply. If Earth has as much water as you say, it could change everything. Species could expand. Populations could grow. Water would not be something we fight over anymore. The door opened again. Architect Vex stood there with several other aliens behind it. Captain Morrison, please come with us. We have begun examining your data. We have questions. Jake followed them to a different room. This one was full of equipment he did not recognize. Screens showed images of Earth from every angle. Numbers scrolled past, faster than he could read. A rock-like alien, one of the Grenetians, spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. We have analyzed the spectral data from your planet. The electromagnetic signatures match water. We have examined the images for signs of alteration. We find none. Either this is the most elaborate deception in galactic history, or Earth is exactly what you claim. It's real, Jake said. Why would we lie about something like this? For political advantage, another alien said. This one looked like an insect, with multiple legs and compound eyes. Species have lied about resources before, exaggerated their worth to gain better trade deals. We're not trying to trick anyone, Jake insisted. We just want to join the galactic community. We want to trade and learn and be part of something bigger than ourselves. Architect Vex studied him carefully. You really did not know, did you? You had no idea that telling us about your water would cause such a reaction. No, Jake admitted. On Earth, water is just there. It falls from the sky. It fills our oceans. We swim in it. We use it for everything. I had no idea it was special. The crystalline being made a sound like wind chimes. This changes everything, Captain Morrison. The Council was prepared to welcome humanity as a minor member species. Interesting, but not particularly important. Now you hold the key to the galaxy's survival. Trime. That sounds dramatic, Jake said. It is not, the Granitian rumbled. 3,000 years ago, the galaxy went to war over water rights to a single moon covered in ice. Billions died. Entire species went extinct. The war only ended when the moon was destroyed in the fighting. Nothing remained worth fighting for. Jake felt sick. You're saying Earth could start another war? Yes, Architect Vex said. unless we are very careful. Over the next 3 days, Jake, Amy, and Kevin lived in a state of controlled panic. They were given rooms on the station and told to stay there, unless escorted. Pip brought them food and news from outside. The small alien told them that word of Earth's water had spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Everyone is talking about it, Pip said on the second day. Some species are celebrating. Others are making demands. The profiteers have already submitted a proposal to buy water rights. The Dominion has requested a military alliance. And the Zinthara have declared Earth a holy site. This is insane, Kevin said. We came here to make friends, not become the center of a galactic crisis. Jake had been in contact with Earth through secure channels. Admiral Lisa Grant, his superior, had ordered him to stay calm and gather information. She was assembling Earth's best diplomats and scientists. They would arrive within a week. But Jake was here now, and decisions needed to be made. That, on the third day, Architect Vex summoned him to the Grand Council chamber. It was the biggest room Jake had ever seen. It could have held a football stadium inside, with room to spare. Representatives from all 15 council species sat in a massive circle. Above them, holographic screens showed their worlds and symbols. Jake stood in the center of the circle, feeling very small. Captain Morrison, Architect Vex said, its voice amplified to fill the enormous space. We have verified your claims. Earth is indeed a water world. The Council must now decide how to proceed. But first, we have questions. A new alien spoke. This one was thin and tall, with skin that shifted colors. I am Merchant Crix of the Profiteers. How much water is humanity willing to sell? We are prepared to offer generous terms. I don't have authority to sell anything, Jake said. I'm just here to represent Earth, not make trade deals. Then who does have authority? Crix demanded. Time is valuable. We should begin negotiations immediately. Another alien stood. This one was massive, covered in thick armor plating. I am Commander Brutus of the Dominion. Earth's water is too important to be left in the hands of a single primitive species. We propose that the Council should administer Earth's resources for the good of all. You mean you want to control it, Jake said. He knew he should probably be more diplomatic. But anger was replacing his fear. Earth isn't yours to administer. Earth is one planet, Brutus said. The Council represents thousands of worlds. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Unless you're one of the few, Jake shot back. Architect Vex raised a hand for silence. Captain Morrison, you must understand the position this puts us all in. Water is life. Species need it to survive. Earth has more water than the rest of the galaxy combined. That kind of imbalance cannot last. Jake took a deep breath. He thought about his home planet, blue and beautiful in space. He thought about the oceans he had swum in as a child. He thought about rain falling on his face. Then let's fix the imbalance, he said. But we do it Earth's way. With cooperation, not conquest. The council chamber erupted with noise. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. Jake stood in the center of it all and knew that the easy part was over. Now came the negotiation that would determine Earth's fate. The arguing in the council chamber went on for hours. Jake stood in the center while aliens debated his planet's future. Some wanted to trade, others wanted to take. A few wanted to protect Earth from everyone else. None of them seemed to care what humanity wanted. Finally, Architect Vex called for order. We will adjourn for today. Captain Morrison, you and your team will prepare a detailed proposal. Tell us exactly how humanity wishes to proceed. We will reconvene in 2 days. Jake was escorted back to his quarters. Amy and Kevin were waiting for him, along with Pip. The small alien had brought food, though none of them felt much like eating. This is bad, Kevin said. They're treating Earth like property to be divided up. We need help, Amy said. Jake, you have to contact Admiral Grant. We need real diplomats here. We need lawyers and politicians, and people who know how to handle this. Already done, Jake said. But they won't arrive for 5 more days. We have to come up with something before then. Pip spoke up quietly. May I offer some advice? Please, Jake said. I'll take any help I can get. The council responds to strength, the small alien said. Not military strength necessarily, but confidence, purpose. If you seem weak or uncertain, species like the Dominion will see you as prey. But if you have a clear vision and refuse to back down, they will respect you. Even if we're the newest species in the galaxy? Amy asked. Especially then, Pip said. You are unknown. That makes you unpredictable. Use that. Over the next day and a half, Jake barely slept. He worked with Amy and Kevin to create a proposal. They argued about details. They rewrote sections. They tried to think of every possible objection the council might raise. Meanwhile, Pip brought news from outside. The galaxy was going crazy. Ships were moving into position near Earth's solar system. Some claimed to be traders. Others were military vessels. A few were religious pilgrims who wanted to see the holy water world. Earth's navy is getting nervous, Pip said. They have never seen so many alien ships before. Some of your leaders want to start shooting. Tell them to hold fire, Jake said. The last thing we need is to start a war we can't win. On the morning of the second day, Jake received an unexpected visitor. Architect Vex came to his quarters alone, without guards or assistants. Captain Morrison, the crystalline being said. Jake sent the others away. He and Vex stood in the small room, studying each other. I want to be honest with you, Vex said. The council is divided. Some members genuinely want to help humanity. Others want to exploit you. And a few want to take Earth by force if necessary. Which are you? I want to prevent another war, Vex said. My species is old. We have seen civilizations rise and fall. We have seen what greed and fear can do. Earth's water could save billions of lives. Or it could destroy the galaxy. No pressure then, Jake said. Vex made that wind chime sound again. You humans have an interesting sense of humor. But you are right to be worried. Commander Brutus is already gathering allies. He believes the Dominion should control all vital resources. He sees Earth as a threat to the current power structure. Because we suddenly have something everyone needs, Jake said. Exactly, Vex said. Before yesterday, humanity was just another primitive species taking its first steps into space. Now you hold the galaxy's most precious resource. That changes everything. So what should I do? Jake asked. Be bold, Vex said. Do not ask for permission. Do not beg for protection. Tell the council what humanity will do, not what you hope to be allowed to do. The strong dictate terms. The weak accept them. After Vex left, Jake thought about those words. Be bold. Don't ask for permission. He looked at the proposal he had written. It was too cautious, too apologetic. He started rewriting. When the council reconvened, Jake walked into the chamber with his head high. Amy and Kevin flanked him. They had rehearsed this. They knew what to say. Members of the council, Jake began. Humanity thanks you for your hospitality and your patience. We understand that Earth's water situation has created uncertainty. We are here to resolve that uncertainty. He projected an image of Earth into the air above them. Beautiful. Blue. Perfect. Earth will share its water with the galaxy, Jake said. But it will be done on our terms. We will establish distribution centers in neutral space. Any species that needs water can request it. We will provide it free of charge to those in genuine need. We will sell it at fair prices, to those who can afford to pay. Merchant Crick stood immediately. Free? You would give away the galaxy's most valuable resource? Water is life, Jake said. No one should die of thirst because they cannot afford to pay. But those who want water for industry or luxury, they will pay. Commander Brutus laughed, a harsh, grinding sound. And who will protect these distribution centers? Your pathetic fleet? The Dominion has 1,000 warships. We could take Earth in a day. Jake met the massive alien's gaze without flinching. You could try, but you would fail. The chamber went silent. Every eye turned to Jake. Explain, Architect Vex said. Earth may be new to the galaxy, Jake said. But we are not stupid. We have been preparing for contact for decades. We have weapons you have not seen. Technology we have kept hidden. Attack Earth, and you will find we are not easy prey. It was a bluff, mostly. Earth did have some weapons. Railguns, nuclear missiles, a few experimental energy weapons. Nothing compared to what the Dominion probably had. But Pip was right. Uncertainty was a weapon too. Furthermore, Jake continued, any attack on Earth will destroy what you want. Our oceans are fragile ecosystems. Bombardment from orbit would poison the water. Use nuclear weapons, and you contaminate it for centuries. You can take Earth, but you cannot take it intact. Amy stepped forward. We propose something better than war. Partnership. Earth joins the Council as a full member. We share our water, and you share your technology. We learn from you, and you learn from us. Everyone benefits. And if we refuse? Brutus demanded. Then Earth closes its borders, Jake said. We keep our water. You keep your technology. And in 100 years, we will be advanced enough that you cannot threaten us. Meanwhile, your species will still be dying of thirst. Kevin brought up more images. Charts and graphs showing Earth's water capacity. We can produce enough fresh water to supply the entire galaxy's needs with room to spare. Desalination, atmospheric processing, recycling systems. Earth has perfected these technologies. We can help other species do the same. We do not want your charity, Brutus said. It's not charity, Jake said. It is survival. For all of us. The galaxy is big enough for everyone, but only if we work together. A new alien spoke up. This one was delicate and beautiful, with flowing tendrils that glowed softly. I am Healer Kala of the Nurturers. My species cares for the sick and injured across the galaxy. We treat millions every year. But water is always scarce. We must choose who receives treatment based on whether we have enough water for their recovery. If Earth can truly provide water freely to those in need, you will have our full support. Thank you, Jake said. That is exactly what we want to do. More species began speaking up. Some agreed with Jake's proposal. Others had concerns or questions. A few, like Brutus and Crix, were openly hostile. But Jake could feel the mood shifting. He had given them hope. Hope was powerful. After several hours of debate, Architect Vex called for a vote. All in favor of accepting humanity's proposal and granting Earth full council membership? Lights appeared above the delegates. Green for yes, red for no. Jake watched as the colors appeared one by one. Green, green, red, green, red, green. It was close. Very close. But when the last light appeared, there were 9 greens and 6 reds. The motion passes, Architect Vex announced. Welcome to the Galactic Council. Humanity. Jake felt relief wash over him. They had done it. Earth was safe. They had allies now. But as he looked at the 6 red lights, particularly the one above Commander Brutus, he knew the fight was not over. The Dominion had lost this vote. They would not forget that. And they would not forgive. Brutus caught his eye across the chamber. The massive alien stared at him with something that looked like hatred. Then, Brutus turned and left. Several other aliens following him. Pip appeared at Jake's side. You made powerful enemies today. I know, Jake said. But we also made friends. And we bought Earth time to prepare. That. I hope it is enough time, Pip said quietly. Jake looked at the small alien. What do you mean? The Dominion does not accept defeat easily. They will try something. Maybe not today, or tomorrow, but soon. You should be ready. Jake nodded slowly. He had won the battle, but the war was just beginning. The celebration was brief. Within hours of the vote, Jake received an urgent message from Earth. Admiral Lisa Grant appeared on his communication screen, her face serious. Captain Morrison, we have a situation. 23 alien vessels just entered our solar system. They are not responding to hails. Our sensors indicate weapon systems are active. Jake felt his stomach drop. What species? Unknown, Grant said. The ships do not match any designs in our database, but based on their formation and behavior, military analysts believe they are Dominion vessels or their allies. Can we stop them? Jake asked. Not all of them, Grant admitted. We could take out maybe 5 or 6 before they reached Earth. The rest would get through. Captain, if they wanted to destroy us, we could not stop them. Jake turned to find Architect Vex. The crystalline being was still in the council chamber, speaking with other delegates. When Jake explained the situation, Vex moved faster than he had ever seen the alien move. Emergency session, Vex announced to the chamber. Unidentified vessels are approaching Earth. This violates the protection agreement we just passed. The council reconvened quickly. But several seats were empty. Commander Brutus and his allies were gone. So were the profiteers and 3 other species who had voted against Earth's membership. Where are they? Jake demanded. Where did they go? Probably to watch, Healer Kalla said, to see if their plan works. What plan? Amy asked. Force humanity to accept terms. Another delegate said. This one was a floating cloudwalker. Threaten Earth directly. Make you so afraid that you give them what they want. We need to respond, Jake said. If the council cannot protect its members, what good is membership? Agreed, Vex said. All available council defense forces are being mobilized, but it will take time to reach Earth. Days, perhaps. We do not have days, Jake said. Those ships could attack at any moment. Pip pulled Jake aside. There might be another way. Come with me. Quickly, Jake followed the small alien out of the chamber and down several corridors. They entered a room full of communication equipment. Pip worked the controls with surprising skill. I am sending a message on all channels, Pip said. Broadcasting to every ship, every station, every world in range. If the Dominion wants to do this, they will do it in front of the entire galaxy. Within minutes, screens across known space lit up with images of the 23 ships surrounding Earth. Pip had hacked into Earth's defense satellites and was streaming everything live. What is the Dominion doing? Voices asked across the galaxy. Why are they threatening a council member? This violates the protection treaty. Commander Brutus's face appeared on the communication channel. The massive alien looked angry. This is an internal matter. Earth threatened the Dominion. We are simply ensuring our security. Liar, Jake said into the channel. You lost a vote, and now you want to take by force what you could not take legally. Billions of beings across the galaxy watched. The attention was overwhelming. Jake could see it in Brutus's expression. The Dominion commander had not expected this. Stand down, Architect Vex commanded. Commander Brutus, you are in violation of council law. Withdraw your vessels immediately. Or what? Brutus challenged. The council has no real power. You pass laws and make speeches. But when strength is required, you fall silent. Not today, a new voice said. Jake saw new ships appearing on the sensors. Dozens of them. Crystalline Zinthara vessels. Nurturers. Medical ships that were heavily armed for self-defense. Even some profiteer trading ships, which apparently had military capabilities. They formed a protective ring around Earth. You are outnumbered, Commander, Vex said. 3-1, and more ships arrive every minute. Attack Earth, and you attack all of us. For a long moment, nothing happened. The Dominion ships held position. Jake could imagine Brutus calculating odds, weighing options. Would the commander risk war with half the galaxy to prove a point? "This is not over," Brutus finally said. "Earth will regret defying the Dominion." The 23 ships turned and left the solar system. Jake felt his legs go weak. He sat down hard on the floor. "That was close," Kevin said over the communication link. "Too close." Amy was already working. "We need to accelerate our defense plans. Build weapons. Train troops. If the Dominion comes back, we need to be ready." Over the next few days, Jake worked non-stop. Earth's diplomats arrived and took over most of the official negotiations. But Jake had become the face of humanity to the galaxy. People wanted to hear from him. Aliens wanted to meet him. He gave interviews and attended meetings and tried to hold everything together. Healer Kala requested a private meeting. Jake met the delicate alien in a quiet garden aboard the station. Water features trickled softly around them. Jake noticed Kala watching the water with something like reverence. "This is beautiful," Kala said. "On my world, we have one fountain in our capital city. It runs for 1 hour each day during festivals. People travel from across the planet to see it. You could have more." "I know," Kala said. "And my people are grateful. But I asked to meet you for another reason. I need to warn you about something." Jake leaned forward. "I am listening." "There were wars over water," Kala said. 3,000 years ago, as Architect Vex told you. But what Vex did not tell you was how those wars started. They began with sabotage, with accidents that were not accidents, with mysterious attacks that could not be traced. "You think the Dominion will try that?" Jake asked. "I think the Dominion and others will try many things," Kala said. "They cannot attack Earth directly now. The galaxy is watching. But there are other ways to hurt you. Ways that are hard to prove." "Like what?" "Your ships could malfunction. Your supplies could become contaminated. Your allies could suffer mysterious setbacks that seem unrelated to Earth but turn people against you." Kala's tendrils glowed brighter. "The Dominion is patient. They will wait. They will plan. And when the galaxy's attention turns elsewhere, they will strike." Jake felt cold despite the warm air. "Be paranoid," Kala said bluntly. "Trust no one completely. Check everything twice. And build your defenses faster than you think you need to." That night, Jake could not sleep. He stood in his quarters, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were planning against Earth, against humanity, because his species had something everyone wanted. A message came through on his personal communicator. It was from someone called Lieutenant Brandon Cole. Jake did not recognize the name, but the security codes were valid. Earth Intelligence Services. "Captain Morrison," the message said. "We have intercepted communications from Dominion space. They are building something. A weapon or a ship, we are not sure. Our analysts believe it is designed specifically to threaten Earth. Construction will be complete in 6 months. We need you to find out more." Jake stared at the message for a long time. 6 months. That was all the time they had. He called for Amy and Kevin. When they arrived, he showed them the message. "We need allies," Amy said immediately. "Real allies. Species who will stand with us, not because of our water, but because it is right. The nurturers will help," Kevin said. "Kala seems genuine." Quote, "So does Pip," Jake added. "And Architect Vex. The Zinthara came to our defense. 3 species," Amy said. "Against the Dominion and whoever they can buy or intimidate. Then we find more," Jake said. "We prove that Earth is worth protecting. Not just for our water, but because we are good allies. Because we keep our promises." "How do we do that?" Kevin asked. Jake thought about it. "We start delivering on our promises. Right now. No more delays. We begin shipping water to species that need it. We share our purification technology. We show the galaxy that we meant what we said. That will take resources, Amy pointed out. Then we better get started, Jake said. The next morning, Jake made an announcement to the council. Earth would begin water shipments within the month. The first deliveries would go to the species in greatest need. The nurturers would receive enough water to double their medical capacity. The collectors would receive technology to improve their water recycling systems. We are not waiting for perfect conditions, Jake said. We are not waiting until we feel safe. We made promises. We keep them. That is the human way. The response was overwhelming. Species that had been neutral suddenly spoke in support of Earth. Even some of the Dominion's allies began to question their position. Why fight against a species that was trying to help? But late that night, Pip came to Jake's quarters with bad news. I am sorry, the small alien said. I have been recalled to my homeworld. The collector government has ordered all our people away from Earth-related projects. Why? Jake asked. Did we do something wrong? No, Pip said. But the Dominion has threatened economic sanctions against any species that helps you too much. My government cannot afford to lose trade deals. We need those to survive. Jake felt a surge of anger. Yes, Pip said simply. And it is working. Other species are making similar decisions. The Dominion is isolating you, making sure Earth has fewer friends when they finally move against you. After Pip left, Jake stood alone in his quarters. The walls felt like they were closing in. Earth had won the political battle. But the real war was just beginning, and Jake was not sure humanity could win it. Jake stood at the observation window of the horizon as the ship approached Earth. 3 months had passed since the council vote. 3 months of constant work, negotiations, and worry. Now he was finally going home. The planet looked beautiful from space. Blue oceans covered most of the surface, just like always. White clouds swirled in patterns. Jake could see the coastlines of continents he knew by heart, but now everything was different. Earth was not just home anymore. It was the most important planet in the galaxy. There are so many ships, Amy said from beside him. She pointed at the sensors. Hundreds of vessels orbited Earth. Some were human ships, part of the rapidly expanding defense fleet. Others belonged to allies. The Zinthara had a permanent guard stationed nearby. The nurturers kept medical ships ready in case of emergency. But there were also unknown vessels at the edge of the system. Watchers. Waiting. Do you think we made the right choice? Kevin asked. Maybe we should have kept quiet about the water. Pretended Earth was just another dry planet. They would have found out eventually, Jake said. Better to control how they learned about it than to be caught in a lie. Admiral Grant met them at the space station orbiting Earth. She looked older than Jake remembered. The stress of the past months showed in her face. Welcome home, Captain, she said. We have a lot to discuss. In a secure briefing room, Grant laid out the situation. The first water shipments have been successful. The nurturers are treating twice as many patients. 14 other species have received supplies. The public response has been overwhelmingly positive. But, Jake asked. He could hear it in her voice. But the Dominion has not been idle, Grant said. She brought up images on the screen. This is what our intelligence has gathered. They are building a fleet. Not just any fleet. The largest military force assembled in 300 years. Jake studied the images. Massive ships under construction. Weapons being tested. Troops being trained. How long do we have? He asked. 6 months, Grant said. Maybe less. And Jake, we cannot win a direct fight. Even with our allies, the Dominion is too strong. So what do? Amy asked. We change the game, Grant said. We make it too expensive for them to attack. We build alliances so strong that attacking Earth means war with half the galaxy. and we prepare to make any victory they achieve worthless to them. Kevin frowned. What does that mean? Grant looked grim. If Earth falls, we destroy our own water supplies, poison the oceans, make the planet useless to them. They can have Earth, or they can have water, but not both. The room went silent. Jake felt sick at the thought. Destroy Earth's oceans? The idea was horrible. That is a last resort, Grant said quickly. We hope it never comes to that. But the Dominion needs to know we will do it. That we would rather destroy what we have than let them take it. Jake spent the next weeks traveling Earth. He spoke to governments and met with scientists. Everywhere he went, people asked the same questions. Were they safe? Would there be war? What would happen to them? He tried to be honest. He tried to give hope without making false promises. It was the hardest thing he had ever done. One night, he received a message from architect Vex. The crystalline being's face appeared on his screen. Captain Morrison, Vex said. I have news. The Council has passed new resolutions. Any attack on Earth will result in immediate economic sanctions against the attacker. All trade will cease. All technology sharing will stop. Will that stop them? Jake asked. I do not know, Vex admitted. Commander Brutus is not a reasonable being. He believes in strength above all else. But others in the Dominion government are more practical. They understand that being cut off from the galactic economy would be disastrous. So we wait and hope they make the smart choice, Jake said. Yes, Vex said. But while we wait, we also prepare. The Zinthara are sending more ships to Earth. Other species are doing the same. If the Dominion attacks, they will face the full might of the Council. After the call ended, Jake walked outside. It was night, and the stars were bright. He could see some of those stars moving. Ships in orbit. Guardians or threats, depending on who they belonged to. A car pulled up. Lieutenant Brandon Cole stepped out. Jake had worked with him several times over the past months. Cole was part of Earth's new intelligence service, dedicated to monitoring alien threats. Captain, Cole said, I have an update you need to hear. The Dominion fleet is moving. Not toward Earth. Toward the Collector homeworld. Jake felt his blood run cold. Pip's people? To send a message, Cole said. The Collectors helped you at the Council session. They supported your membership. The Dominion wants to punish them, and they want to show the galaxy what happens to Earth's friends. We have to help them, Jake said. With what? Cole asked. Our fleet is here. Defending Earth. If we leave, we become vulnerable. That might be exactly what the Dominion wants. Draw us away from home, and then attack. Jake wanted to scream. This was the choice they faced. Protect themselves or help their friends. Either way, someone got hurt. He called an emergency meeting with Grant and Earth's leadership. They argued for hours. Some wanted to send ships to help the Collectors. Others insisted Earth's defense was the priority. In the end, they reached a compromise. We send 3 ships, Grant said. Fast attack vessels. They carry water purification equipment and supplies for the Collectors. If the Dominion attacks, our ships defend, but their primary mission is humanitarian. We are not starting a war. We are helping people. Jake volunteered to lead the mission. Grant refused. You are too valuable, she said. You are the face of humanity to the galaxy. We need you alive. Instead, Jake watched as 3 Earth ships jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading for the Collector homeworld. He watched and prayed they would arrive in time. 2 days later, news came. The Dominion fleet had surrounded the Collector homeworld. They demanded the Collectors publicly renounce their support for Earth. They demanded the Collectors refuse to accept any water shipments. They demanded submission. The Collector government refused. Jake watched the live feed with millions of others across Earth. The Dominion ships opened fire. Not on the planet. Not yet. but on collector orbital stations, on their satellites, on their small defense fleet. It was a massacre. The collectors had almost no military. They were peaceful traders and miners. They never stood a chance. Then Earth's 3 ships arrived. They were small compared to the Dominion vessels, but they were fast, and their weapons were new. Technology Earth had developed in secret, waiting for this moment. The ships tore into the Dominion formation. They hit hard and fast, and then jumped away before the enemy could target them properly. Then they jumped back in from a different angle and hit again. It was not enough to win, but it was enough to make the Dominion think twice. It was enough to buy time, and time was what they needed. Because across the galaxy, other species were watching the Dominion attack a peaceful world, watching Earth rush to the defense of a small species, watching and making decisions. The Zinthara declared war on the Dominion. So did the Nurturers. So did 6 other species. Within hours, the Dominion faced not just Earth, but a coalition. Ships began jumping into the collector system from across the galaxy. Commander Brutus gave the order to retreat. The Dominion fleet withdrew, leaving destruction behind but achieving nothing. Jake watched it all from Earth. He felt relief mixed with sorrow. The collectors had suffered. People had died. But the Dominion's plan had failed. They had tried to isolate Earth by intimidating its friends. Instead, they had pushed more species to Earth's side. Pip sent a message a few days later. The small alien looked tired but alive. "Thank you," Pip said simply. "Earth could have stayed safe. You could have let my people fall. But you helped us. That will not be forgotten." Jake wanted to say it was nothing, that any decent species would have done the same, but he knew that was not true. Many species would have looked away, would have decided their own safety was more important. "We take care of our friends," Jake said. "That is what humans do." In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. The Dominion's aggression had backfired. Species that had been neutral now sided with Earth. Trade agreements were signed. Defense pacts were established. Earth went from being alone and vulnerable to being the center of a growing alliance. But Jake knew the danger was not over. The Dominion had lost this battle. They would not forget. They would not forgive. Somewhere out there, Commander Brutus was planning, building, preparing for another attempt. Jake stood once more at the observation window, looking at Earth. Beautiful. Blue. Covered in life-giving water. The planet that changed everything. Admiral Grant joined him. "The Council wants to establish a permanent embassy on Earth," she said. "They want to make our planet the center of galactic water distribution. Billions of beings will be depending on us." "That is a lot of responsibility," Jake said. "Yes," Grant agreed. "But also, a lot of power. The species that controls the water controls the galaxy. We have to be worthy of that trust." Jake nodded. He thought about everything that had happened since that first meeting with Architect Vex. Earth had gone from unknown to essential in just a few months. Humanity had allies now, but also enemies. They had wealth beyond imagination, but also targets on their backs. "Do you think we can do it?" Grant asked. "Can we manage this? Can we stay true to our principles while also staying safe?" Jake looked at his home planet, spinning slowly in space. He thought about all the people down there. Ordinary humans, living ordinary lives. Most of them not even aware of how much danger they were in. He thought about the responsibility he carried, representing them to the galaxy. "We have to try," he said finally. "Because if we fail, if we become like the Dominion and use our water as a weapon instead of a gift, then what is the point? We might survive, but we would lose what makes us human." "That is a dangerous philosophy," Grant said. "Being good does not always mean winning." "No," Jake agreed. "But maybe it is the only way to win that matters." Far out in space, near the edge of human sensors, Ships watched and waited. Dominion vessels keeping track of Earth's defenses, looking for weaknesses, planning. The war had not started. Not really. But everyone knew it was coming. The question was not if the Dominion would attack again. The question was when, and whether Earth and its allies would be ready. Jake made a decision. He would not go back to being just a ship captain. He would stay in this role, being the bridge between humanity and the galaxy. He would work every day to build stronger alliances, to show the galaxy that Earth was worth protecting, that humans were good neighbors and true friends. It would not be easy. There would be more crises, more threats, more impossible choices. But Jake was ready. Humanity was ready. The blue planet spun below him, oceans gleaming in the light of the sun. Earth had water, more water than the rest of the galaxy combined. That was humanity's greatest strength. But it was also their greatest danger. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The age of galactic politics had begun. And humanity would face it the only way they knew how, with courage, with hope, and with the determination to do what was right, even when it was hard. Jake turned away from the window. There was work to do. Messages to send. Alliances to strengthen. Plans to make. The future was uncertain. The dangers were real. But humanity would face them together. And maybe, just maybe, they would survive.